Introduction. What is this book about? It's about teachings and traditions, not people. It's about walking in truth. There are 3 stages of truth. First, it is considered ridiculous. Second, it is violently opposed. Third, it is accepted as being self-evident. Many have been so disturbed by the facts in this book, they have thrown it across the room. Some have jumped up and down on it. Some have thrown it into a dumpster, and a trash collector retrieved it and was awakened. One trash collector called to thank me for writing the book. Some attacked the messenger on the internet, destroying my reputation. One person claims there are many blunders in this book. The truth may come to you, but you have to receive it. Most people sense the world is off balance. The artificial mask hiding the true origins of our customs will be lifted. And it may be very disturbing to learn the truth. In spite of the pain and shock, you will realize the truth is a treasure, a gift, and an awakening you will be thankful for receiving. It will sober you up. The origins of popular customs have been my lifelong study, and revealing them to others in a way that makes sense is my main goal. I was trained to think by the Jesuit Illuminati, but discerned their brainwashing techniques, exercises of Loyola, and the cathetical repetitive echo response methods. They taught me to pray to the dead, kneel in front of various objects of worship, and use rosaries. Prayers to the dead is necromancy, but I didn't even know it at the time. Their maxims did not seem logical to me, even as a very young child. The end justifies the means sounded tyrannical and cruel. Their programming failed to work on me, but I saw it successfully implemented on others. It held a strong hold on most of my close family. When I asked questions, the Jesuits had prepared unfulfilling answers. I wanted to know the answer to why about everything, including why they were doing what they were doing, why they had dressed the way they did, and why they trusted their rituals and echelons of rank. After spending all the years of my youth in this intense brainwashing and programming, I escaped to the U.S. Air Force, breaking the spell. World Order of the Beast. The Jesuits openly explained how the world system's power structure is organized. Since Babel, the world has been organized in this beast system, or order. It is a highly ordered teaching authority, controlling and wielding power over the commoners, whom they refer to as the laity, common people. The dragon gives them this authority and power. We often hear non-professionals referred to as lay people or laity. This term implies there are more informed people who were in control. The Jesuit Illuminati was all around me, but only later did I become aware of their presence and strategies. The only organized teaching authorities they recognize is theirs. All others were evil. Theirs was the only means to attain or earn heaven, and the other teaching authorities had to be opposed and totally eliminated. The Jesuits are a military order. This militia is totalitarian. Organized government posing as a religious institution. Its greatest operation is the United Nations. This is a foreign power entrenched on the sovereign soil of the United States. It is a foothold that so far remains unrecognized. The 3 estates of the world order are the way the dragon controls us. 1, the clergy. 2, the nobility or government. And 3, the commoners or laity, the people living out in the sticks, woodland dwellers having quaint superstitions. The Latin term pagus, forest dweller, became the modern word pagan. They had a reputation for holding to primitive beliefs, so the term pagus was highly derogatory. This book will change everything with the truth. The ignorance of the pagans was exploited in the past. Only now they are called lay people, being the ignorant masses. after the printing press was invented in the early 15th century, the media slowly became what is referred to as a fourth estate. It became a powerful authority and attempts to control information. The teaching authority of the clergy is constantly being exposed and challenged by the truth. The collision between truth and tradition is only on display every day in the media. Believing mysterious traditions? Much of the information presented here will be new and shocking to most readers. Anything in this book can be easily verified, and I encourage you to do research on your own. You will have facts you can prove, rather than continue in ignorance and live like a pagus, with mysterious traditions and quaint superstitions. Try to be objective and not filter the facts through previous programming you've chosen to believe. Understand that you have been programmed to a greater extent than you realize. No one alive today is responsible for all the pagan behavior we see all around us. There are dozens of excuses for maintaining the status quo. But once the truth is available to the average person, hiding behind lies invented by men long dead is pointless. The distortions of the truth occurred because pagan religious practices became mixed into it, and the bride, wife of the Creator, was attacked along with the covenant. A marriage. The Inquisition burned and tortured millions of people to death for having just come in contact with only a tiny speck of truth. The true roots of our faith are Hebraic and are based on Torah. Our Hebrew roots. The roots of our faith aren't Greek or Roman. They are Hebrew. The Mashiach is the mediator of the covenant, which is the Torah written on our hearts. If we turn to the left or turn to the right, we must listen to the voice of our teacher, who is saying, "This is the way, walk in it." The Torah is the narrow way, and few find it. He who answers before listening, that is his folly and his shame. Proverbs 18:13. In this book, you'll discover the true origins of many cherished customs. They originate from Babylon's sun worship, cleverly developing into Christianity over many centuries of darkness. They are the strong delusion, a lie. Witchcraft is openly practiced. Fertility symbols are everywhere. Wreaths, branches, bows, and trees have been used as emblems of fertility, used to decorate during the winter solstice, thought of as the rebirth of the sun. The tree was an Asherah altar representing a phallus, testicles, balls, and semen, tinsel. The wreath represents the female genitalia after giving birth. In Babylonian mythology, Nimrod had died and become the sun, worshipped as Baal, the Lord. Other cultures, imitated this with other names such as Marduk, Mithras, Moloch, Ahura Mazda, Got, Aton, and Dagon. Later, the tree became the Canaanites' image of Asherah and was carried into the nations by the 10 scattered tribes of Yisrael, or Israel, the Samaritans. They're literally everywhere. The scariest day in all history is ahead, the day the earth is harvested by reapers. See Joel chapter 2. The first thing that will go through your mind when you see the fire consume people around you, you may say, "Why didn't I do more to reach them with the truth, so this may not have happened to them?" See 2 Peter 3:7, Zechariah 14, and Matthew 3:12. This is what Yahuwah Sabaoth says. In those days, 10 men from all languages and nations will take firm hold of one Yehudi by the hem of his robe and say, "Let us go with you, because we have heard that Elohim is with you." Zechariah 8:23. Him or tzitzith, tassels. Joel chapter 2 describes the reapers as they take the weeds out first. Those who are sealed at the time this takes place will witness the most incredible day in all of history. Brothers, children of Abraham, and you Elohim-fearing Gentiles, it is to us that this message of salvation has been sent. Acts 13:26. The word God was used by translators in place of the Hebrew word Elohim, Al, Allah, Alua, meaning lofty, mighty, upward, or high one. The Arabic language is primarily unaltered Hebrew. Their use of the word Allah is not a name, it's a pronoun. The book of Daniel uses this pronoun often. Aleph, Lamed, He. We should be very aware that their Allah is not our Allah, because our Allah is love. He is coming soon, and we call on him by the name Yahusha. He came as a servant to show us the perfect, narrow way in his behavior, Torah. At first, this book might enrage all those who follow traditions. By reading a little, you will begin to understand the truth. Everything we see in the traditions practiced by Christianity originates in pagan customs. We will show you how they admit this is so. We'll look at the scriptures to see if this is valid behavior. We've inherited our habits and customs from people long ago, so no one alive is responsible. Sir Winston Churchill once said, "Most people sometime in their lives stumble across truth. Most jump up, brush themselves off, and hurry on about their business as if nothing had happened." This book restores names and other words to their more accurate original sound. Letters in any language are symbols for sounds. Translating the scriptures from Hebrew into Greek, then Latin, German, and English led to a certain loss of meaning, as well as the distortion of sounds. Phonology. The goal of translating is to find the best words to express the meaning in the context of the original. We say hello, while a Hawaiian says aloha for both hello and goodbye. Similarly, shalom is used to say peace, and is used as a greeting or to signal departing. Shalom can refer to an ending or completion of something. Fulfilling a contract brings shalom to an obligation or agreement. What do you suppose was the last word Yahusha spoke as he breathed his last breath on the tree? Yahusha did not say teleo, Greek, as most teaching authorities have insisted. He would have exhaled a much more appropriate word with his last breath, shalom. He spoke Hebrew, saying the word that meant he had accomplished what he had come for. It was the word for completion in Hebrew. Many times an original Hebrew word is transliterated, which means the sound of the original word is carried over using the letters of the target language. This is commonly done when there is no word in the target language that expresses the same idea. Hebrew is the inspired, Elohim-breathed language. You are reading this book in the English language, but in the Latin alphabet to make the sound for the English words. It is possible to use these Latin letters to correctly sound, enunciate, pronounce the names of people or words that are Hebrew. If we used the Hebrew alphabet to write the words, most could not read them until they studied the Hebrew alphabet and language. The Greek alphabet is incapable of transliterating the sound of the Mashiach's name, but the Latin alphabet is able to do so. Later, we'll carefully investigate the name. Yisrael's prime minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, has a Hebrew name that has been properly transliterated into our Latin letters. You are reading them now. In his own ears, he can hear his name perfectly pronounced by people who speak any language. His name also has a meaning, but it would be improper to translate his name, since what his name means is not his name. Your name retains the same sound out of the mouth of people of any language. If you make a friend with someone from Taiwan, they will do their best to pronounce your name as closely as they can to accurately address you as you are accustomed to hearing it. Distortions of people's names have occurred, and we will attempt to restore them to their closest originals in this book. Noah was really Noach, having a K sound at the end of it. Noach. His son's name, Shem, means name. Noach may have named him this as a reminder of the name of the Creator, which you will discover in this book. The word Semites is derived from Shem's descendants, the people who bear the Creator's name, as referred to at Daniel 9:19. The sh sound was lost because Greek has no such sound. The more correct word is Shemites. We inherited little errors here and there. Wouldn't it be great to be able to hear how the Mashiach's name really sounded? One thing is certain. It wouldn't be a Greek name. Building on truth or lies. Let's imagine you are 1,000 feet in the air, standing on the high steel framework of a new skyscraper being built. You are supported by each of the steel girders below you and the massive concrete foundation resting on the bedrock of the earth. Your primary concern at this point is your safety. The girders above and below you must each be riveted securely to one another. If even one girder is jammed in with no rivets, the whole structure could fall at any moment. Any girder with no rivets is like a lie, because you put your trust in it as if it were truth. The only way to know if each girder is true is to closely examine each one. To appear to be part of a structure is not enough in itself, because you place your trust in every girder below you, believing they are true. This book will shake, inspect, and test some frameworks for lies. If you are on a firm foundation and a framework built on 100% truth, you dwell in safety. If this book can show you some girders that have no rivets, exposing deceptions as lies they really are, then you will be wise to evaluate remaining where you are. For with much wisdom comes much sorrow. The more knowledge, the more grief. Ecclesiastes 1:18. It would be senseless to defend the safety of a building you knew had missing or no rivets, and it would be extremely hazardous to remain there. You would warn anyone who even went near it. Why? Because of love. Your concern for others can become even greater than self-preservation, placing the needs of others above your own. Lies are poison, and truth is like fire. It tests the purity of metals, and it refines them. A serpent's venom has poisoned the whole world by causing them to drink tradition rather than truth. This book is intended to inform you and make you aware, and when you become aware, you will mourn. This book has angered many people. Eventually, they woke up, and having written or called to say how they appreciate being awake. Yahusha is the one who has revealed his redemption plan.